Right, a couple of little updates. First of all, got the exhaust fitted. It's looking quite good. And there's usual with all pattern parts. Had to make a little bit of a spacer here because the in here exhaust was hitting the frame. Yeah, so it wasn't quite out far enough, so just made that little spacer up there and have a bit of alloy bar. Yeah, so that's all tightened down now. And the other thing is oh, by the way, I've got the clocks, some new clocks. That one is just the Speedo. They're modern replicas, they're not the originals. So they actually fit on a different way, these ones. This is the standard. Don't get it out one-handed. This is your standard Speedo mount. So that these two bolts here, the bolt there, so that's the way the bracket would go, like that. And these two bolts here would hold the Speedo on. But these replicas, you can't do it like that because on the original ones the actual drive, or where the cable goes in, is to the side. But on the replica ones, smack in the middle, so you can't actually use these. Yeah, so I've just made some, see them up there, just made these little standouts, little, have a bit of stainless steel, just cut them down. Yeah, so that can mount that way. Yeah, so how well they will work, might be a little bit of a modification or two on them, but that will be that. Also got tackle cable there, which I didn't have before. And the other thing is I've had to remove all the primary drive, clutch, everything again, because when I lined everything up with the primary drive chain, the end, which is in a box somewhere, end of the what's it called, cush drive, was hitting against the outer primary case, so I couldn't close the whole thing up. The reason being, I've shown this in a previous video, this original, or this case I've got here in a primary drive case was actually damaged. Somebody had repaired it with what was perhaps a piece of road sign, so it doesn't actually come out far enough, which is probably why the primary drive chain wasn't aligned properly when I got it, because I had to make a little spacer to bring it out to line it up. Yeah, basically this part here, you can see that if I get a straight edge really. Yeah, this, the height of that should be the height of this here, but it isn't, so it's too low. I did work out I need about 5 mil, I need to move the whole thing out about 5 mil. So I just bought a bit of alley plate, so I'm going to have to make a spacer up to go on there. between that and the inner primary. So that'll be the next little job before I get onto the electrics. And if you're wondering why I got gloves on here, because I keep banging my head on the end of the that's what happens when you lose your hair, you get no warning. Yeah, so I got a bit fed up with that, so just shove some gloves on there. Yeah, so that'll be next thing. I also need another gasket, because I'm going to have a gasket either side of this bit of plate. Hopefully that will give me enough, or move it out far enough. And in fact, when you bolt this, when you bolt the inner on, actually bolts on that there at the rear, and if you bolt it on just by that bolt, you can see it actually does sit out here further by about 5mm, which is what I worked out what I need to space this out by. So pity I haven't got another gasket, because I just could have used that as a template. Ordered one, but it's not turned up yet. Yeah, it wasn't cutting that great at that angle, so I've just moved the tool back a bit and took the just got a hacksaw and took the extra bits off, so I can get in a bit tighter now with the cutting tool at the right angle. So hopefully that should cut better. Let's give it another go. Starting to take shape now, got a little way to go. These are only guide marks really, as long as it ends up round when I've finished, that won't really matter. But yeah, starting to get there. Right, I think that will probably do it. We're not far off. The mark external diameter isn't really important as long as it's bigger than it needs to be, so I think I'll just deburr that and we'll call that it. And I'll have to get the external jaws, clamp it that way so I can take the middle out. And I got this set up in the external jaws. Just going to run some drills through to the bigger size I got, and then I'll just go in with a boring bar and take that out to there, and that part will be done. Then I'll just need to work out where the 3 holes have to go. I think we might be just about there. Scratch more. .64. Yeah, might be just about there. That should give us a little bit of wiggle room. I'll just deburr it and then let's see if that fits over the crankcase. Right, so there we are. Plain ring just done, and yeah, that'll fit on there okay. Just a little bit of wiggle room in case you don't get the holes perfect. Yeah, that should do nicely. And obviously that's the other side. That's got to go on. Right, so now it's just the 3 holes to put in there, which would be a whole lot easier if I actually had another gasket here, but I don't. So just going to have to work out how to do that. Just calculate the PCD, just put the bolts back in. Just zero these calipers like that. Measures say 80 point, to get on these properly, 80.15, 80.15, and the diameter of the bolt. There's a little shoulder at the top of these bolts, so you can get a fairly good reading. 7.82. Right, so if you take the diameter of the bolt away from the outside measurement of there, that will give you your centre to centre, and then multiply that by, I think it's 1.15 something, and that'll give you your PCD. But even easier, there is a online calculator which will do it for you, so I'll just go and figure that out, and we'll know what the PCD is then. So I've calculated my PCD, 83.52. Got the work set up in the mill, clamped down, a couple of sacrificial bits of wood, because I'm probably going to end up drilling right through in one of those positions. If you wonder why I got a Sharpie in the chuck, that's just so I can mark this and see that it's going to come out where I expect it to, because I've not actually used this PCD function on this before. So I've found my centres, so currently in the centre, just use the half function to work that out. So right, set in the centre, this here is the PCD function. Right, so centre, yep, 0, 0, and then basically just use the down arrow. Diameter, which is my, that's come across there very well, which is my PCD, 83.52. Next one down, number of holes, which is 3. Starting angle, now I had to sort of fiddle around a bit with this because of where these clamps are, just to work out where my spacing was going to end up. So I've gone 180 degrees, so we're over there to start with, and that should put the other ones there and there. Right, so that's that. And end and angle, I've just added 240 onto my starting angle to get that 420, which is obviously full full way round. Press the down arrow again. Right, so number 1 hole, that just have to make that X on there 0. So it's a little bit tricky to try and do this while holding the camera, but we'll give it a go. Hopefully you can see that. It's more like it. Where are we? Right. Shot past it. Right. Just knock the Y out a little bit as well, by the looks of it. Right, so we're zeroed there, and that's where it's put us. Right, so if we just give that a little dab with the marker there, and press the down arrow, number 2 hole, so we just have to make these at 0 again. Let's take the Y down. Now the X. Sorry for the wobbly camera, it's quite hard to do this single-handed, and I can't really set the tripod up here very easily for this height. Knock that Y again. Right, let's just get this Y. Right, so that puts us over there. Just give that a dab with the marker. Right, number 3. So X is basically the same, although I'm going to have to move it to get past this stud. Just move that over a bit out of the way. Right, do the Y. Down to 0 again. See that the light is a bit reflecting off this plastic cover. Just past. Don't really matter at the minute, I suppose, because I'm really marking it. Right, oh, an X. Right, down with the marker. Right, well, to me they look like they are in the correct places. We just do a centre to centre measurement just to check with what we took off off the bolts. But yeah, that seems to be okay, and this will remember all my settings, so I can just go ahead and drill them holes out. Right, so that's the ring finished. Let's say we'll need another gasket to go on there. And just give it a try, make sure everything lines up. Bolts. Yeah, that should do the job. I didn't have some slightly longer bolts, but that will have to do. So as soon as I get a new gasket, I'll fit that, and then the obviously then this bit. Go over there and take that out far enough so it doesn't interfere with the cush drive, the end of the cush drive nut actually.